Welcome to our Hanukkah night. Tonight you'll be exposed to somewhat of a full-fledged exposition on the Feast of Hanukkah, the origin of it and so on. We will divide the nights in two parts from 7 to 8, let's say 7:55 or 8 or 8:05, then a short pause, and then re-embark again into the last part, which will be the Messianic implication of it. Don't miss that, because these feasts are nice to teach, but if we don't keep them Messianic-centered, we basically drop the ball with them. So that's why tonight you will be exposed to that. So please, beloved, make sure that you're given an outline, the outline of all these things. And like I said, they are very much an outline, so I will follow the ABC on each point and so on. So try to make your notes. The last page has been left blank for you in order to make your notes. And as I develop these things, it takes a long time to type. My wife is helping me out with this. I sure hope to provide you with more space in the future. It's been prayed upon already. Thank you so much. You bless my heart in great number like this tonight. To see an interest to know about the Feast of Hanukkah blesses my heart. Believe you me, I meant what I say. Let's begin, beloved. I'll give you time to make your notes. So, the Feast of Hanukkah, I'll give you much details, is not a feast that begins with Moses. Okay? The Feast of Hanukkah is not a feast found with Moses like the 7 holy festivals that you can find in the book of Leviticus chapter 23. So, its origin came basically towards the end of the Old Testament, between the end of the Old Testament and the beginning of the New Testament. So basically, it's a feast that did originate in intertestamental time. Yet, why, Francois, do you do a presentation of it? It's because the feast is biblical in two ways. The feast is biblical in two ways. First of all, the event, beloved, that brought the feast about are prophesied in a book rarely taught these days, in the book of Daniel. So the events that brought the Feast of Hanukkah are prophesied in the book of Daniel. That's why it is indeed a biblical festival, biblical holy season if you want to, or biblical feast. Number two, Jesus authenticated it by observing the Feast of Hanukkah, because probably every year he went to the Feast of Hanukkah. That's why we will study tonight the book of John chapter 10 from verses 22 to 39, when he went to the feast in December, and that's the Feast of Hanukkah. And to be very honest with you, this is my primary reason why it was on my heart to teach it at least once every second year. We won't bug you down every year to come to that. Once you've been exposed to that one time, it's nice, but I'm planning to do it kind of a somewhat regular basis, because we have left it aside quite a bit because of traditionalism, and I like to teach about these things because they are biblical. Take your outlines with you. Just walk through the outlines. Our study tonight will be divided in 5 parts. First of all, the Hebrew names, like you have them on your outline, subdivided in 2. Secondly, the prophetic background in Daniel 8 and in Daniel 11. This will be the tedious part. If I can get your attention in that part, that will be quite a good thing to do together. So stay concentrated with me, because there is a fellow that I need to talk to you about, Antiochus Epiphanes, and so on. But it's good to know because it's in the book of Daniel, and he is the person who basically fulfilled what Daniel 8 and Daniel 11 will say. Part number 3, I'm going to give you the historical background, which bears some similarity with number 2, and so on. Flip the page. I'm going to give you some Jewish practices. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand here at all, because we might have some Jewish people in our audience. You come to see me at the end if I say something wrong. I've studied it extensively. So I'm going to give you what the Jews do and don't do, not in its full extent, but I will explain a few Jewish practices of that feast. And then the dessert will be the Messianic implication, and what was taught by Jesus at that time, and what he will say in the temple countdown in light of the Feast of Hanukkah. I'm not going to take questions because of the size of the group, so we're just going to carry on with the teaching. Make your notes. If I say a word you don't understand, please ask. But as far as the questions, we'll keep it at the end if we do have time for that. Let's begin on your outline on Division 1, Roman numeral 1, the Hebrew names. Channukah, beloved, means dedication. Okay, it means dedication. That's the biblical word for Channukah. Channukah is the Hebrew word for dedication. Basically, why it's called dedication, it's because there was a rededication of the temple after it was desecrated by the Greeks. It was desecrated by the Greeks with the abomination of desolation, and that's why there was a rededication of the second temple in Bible history. That's why it is called Channukah. A second name that goes with it is the name Hag HaOrim, like this. Hag HaOrim. It's the Feast of Lights. The Feast of Lights, it's also called the Feast of Lights, but the fact that it's called the Feast of Lights, which I will explain with the menorah, right on the piano here, that's why I brought the two menorahs, and I will explain a few things later concerning that. It's based upon a legend, okay? So the real meaning of Channukah, beloved, is not the Feast of Lights, although lights is attached to it, and we will see that, and the name Feast of Lights is found in what we call the first centurion, the first Jewish historian called Josephus. You find that name in that place. The legend goes like this.